think of provincial parks, what do you think of?
Open spaces, no houses, mosquitoes, campfires, canoes.
How about a radio telescope? Radio telescope? Does that factor in there?
No.
Well, our next story took us deep into the interior of Algonquin Park for a bit of a fixer-upper project on the Algonquin Radio Observatory.
You want to see something really cool? Follow me.
Meet Brendan Quine. As workplaces go, his is one of the coolest around.
It's pretty amazing, eh? It's like a ship, only on land.
His job? Breathe new life into a dying piece of Canadian history.
Hello from Algonquin Radio Observatory!
This is the Algonquin Radio Observatory. Built in 1965, it is without doubt a giant.
When I first saw the telescope, I fell in love with it.
Towering above the treetops and half a football field in diameter, even today, it's a stargazer's dream come true.
With this machine, you can see things that you cannot see with any other scientific tool.
Gathering radio waves instead of light, the dish can detect the faintest signals from the outer reaches of the universe. But after 40 years of stargazing, the government decided to shut it down. And that's where Brendan stepped in.
I got interested in this telescope because I'm really interested in mounting a landed mission to the surface of Mars. And this is the only telescope in Canada with the capability to receive these really weak signals that we're going to broadcast from the Martian surface.
A space engineering prof at York University, Brendan knows this is one treasure too big to let go.
We want to bring back the telescope to a full state of restoration and make it the jewel in the middle of the park that it once was.
A massive job, and it's going to take a lot more than just paint. 2 years ago, DailyPlanet was on site when Brendan and his company, Thoth Technology, made their inaugural button press. The telescope's first time online under new management. It was a big moment, but very short-lived. 2 weeks later, it screeched to a halt.
When we removed the hatch from one of the 4 roller bearings that support the 1,000-ton telescope, actually pieces of the roller bearing fell out.
Perched on top of a 3-story concrete building, the giant moving part of the telescope sits on 4 rollers, which spin around on a circular metal track. With one of the roller bearings broken, the dish isn't going anywhere. Today, Brendan hopes to change that.
We've now decided that we're going to have to change out this bearing. It's very similar to changing a bearing, a wheel bearing on a car, except the bearing's much, much bigger.
A job too big for himself, he's brought in some big guns to help out.
Specifically, we have not worked on a large telescope, but as we approach the job, for us, it's a large piece of machinery. We look at the parts individually and take care of the parts that need taken care of to make this machine function. But it is a very impressive piece of equipment.
Once inside the belly of the beast, the guys take a closer look at the damage.
It can't get worse. It's catastrophic bearing failure. Okay, this is the existing outer race, and you can see here a chunk of it has broken away.
The outer race is a metal ring that surrounds the bearing itself.
This housing is pressing down on this shaft with the bearing in between.
The old bearing and race are toast. Luckily, a replacement part came with the property. But before it goes in, the old one has to come out. Even with the right tools, breaking through steel designed to hold 1,000 tons does take a bit of work.
Come on, baby. A little more grinding. One big chunk just came out. There we go. So now we need a bar to get in behind there. Shifting around.
Yay!
There we are. That was easy.
Look at that.
Next, the new outer race gets squeezed back in.
Perfect. The eagle has landed. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Finally, it's the bearing rollers themselves.
Okay.
At 85 kilograms, this isn't your typical bearing. Fully lubricated, it slides into place perfectly.
You have a new bearing.
As they bolt the bearing cover back on, the moment of truth is here. 2 years in the making, it's time to crank up the motors and get this baby turning once more.
Okay, good. I'm going to start rolling in counterclockwise first. Azimuth counterclockwise. It tripped. Yeah, we can't move now. We tripped the drive.
This time the problem seems to be electrical, but it's too early to tell.
Not good.
Unfortunately for Brendan, the panel is back at the top.
That'll do it. So we're going to try it again.
Back at ground level, the tension is growing. Brendan decides to give it one more try.
Okay, here we go. Well, we got some power. We're not tripping. I'm just going to turn it up slightly. Oh, I think we moved slightly. Drive's still on. Yeah, we're moving very, very slowly. I'm going to turn it up very slightly because we're definitely moving.
As the pace picks up, so do the team's spirits.
That's great. Been waiting a long time for this.
After a 2-year nap, this telescope can once again turn its ears to the stars, and the team can start planning their mission to Mars.
It's an amazing scientific instrument. This is an incredible piece of Canadian heritage, and it's not just the past, it's the future as well.